opinions expressed on this podcast may not be those of the host or the guest. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Renaissance for the Soul. It's I, Odin Young. We have Young Trav once again with us. Our special guest today is
Hamza.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm Hamza. I'm a music artist. I rap, I sing, I do audio engineering, I write my songs. I just dropped an album, Where It All Begins. I dropped it 3-4 weeks ago now. And I've just been trying to promote that a lot, do some marketing, and working on performing it, So I've been doing a lot of open mics and stuff lately, and it's been fun. I'm just trying to grow more, stay humble, and figure out how to improve, but also just be proud of where I am at the moment.
Where you from?
I was born in Saudi Arabia. I grew up in Boston. I moved here about a year ago.
What made you transition this way?
To Atlanta? Yeah. It kind of ever since I started making music, it was kind of just in the back of my mind, I should take this to Atlanta. I should take this to Atlanta. And I didn't really know much about it. I hadn't visited here yet or anything, but it was just kind of in my heart. So as I was dropping songs, making music, I was on the move. I lived a bunch of different places at the time. I finally got the chance to visit. And when I visited that first weekend, I had a great time. It just felt like the city welcomed me immediately. I went to a bar, someone invited me to an after hours. I got to see what the city was really about that first night. And then the next day, I went to Piedmont Park. I went on the Beltline. I saw all the nature Atlanta has to offer, all the graffiti on the walls, all the cool restaurants and whatnot. And I was this place feels special to me. I feel very much at home here already.
So you were born in Saudi Arabia,
mm-hmm.
and then you moved to Boston at what age?
So I was born in Saudi Arabia. I left when I was 2. We moved to Missouri for a few years. When I was 8, we moved to Massachusetts, in the suburbs.
I was mainly asking because I was wanting to see if being there, if that influences your music at all.
No, honestly, not much. Yeah. I love Boston for a lot of reasons. I didn't truly connect with its music scene much while I was there, I felt much more connected to the music scene here because there's just a lot more creatives in Atlanta, and there's a lot more creatives like New York or LA, for example. Boston's much more of a, you get an engineering job or you're going to be a doctor or that kind of thing. So
I don't think the mighty RSO would like that. What's the boy's name? The Source magazine? He's a Boston dude.
Yeah, there's definitely people that come out of Boston that do great things and musically and whatnot, but it didn't feel like my spot to grow.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So since being down here, how would you describe, if somebody was thinking about moving to Atlanta, how would you describe Atlanta now that you've been here?
I'd say it's one of the cities I've seen with the most amount of pockets, most amount of different flavors to neighborhoods. You're going to get every type of person you can imagine in Atlanta. You're going to find them. Whether they are creative, whether they working, whether they this ethnicity or that ethnicity, whether they dress this way or that way, you're going to get every single type of person, which is really cool because then you can pick and choose what neighborhoods you can go to. You can just have a really cool experience meeting different types of people. And the thing I always say that people never mention when you move here, when I first was going to move here, people always said oh, don't go there, traffic's crazy. I'm all right, that's such a small thing. But it's the creativity, the friendliness of the people, and the amount of trees that they got in the city is crazy. It changes everything. It's so much fresh air all the time, so many different parks you can walk to. It's awesome. I love it.
No, that's real. Because I feel like a lot of people, they get on the negative things, the traffic and stuff. But that's one of the reasons I like it too, the nature. You have you can make a day trip to some of these waterfalls up north. You know what I'm saying? It's right there.
Hour or 2 away,
So,
yeah.
That's dope.
And there's traffic in every major city. Why is that the first thing you're talking to me about? I don't know.
As far as music goes, what got you? Because you said Boston really isn't the scene that you.
For me personally.
For you personally, that's what I'm saying. But you still, write music, audio engineer, rap, the whole thing. So what got you even involved in being an artist?
So it started off like I hadn't picked up the pen until I was 22 or 23. Like I hadn't written a single bar until then. That was towards the end of me being in college. I realized that the path I was going down, while it may have been financially stable, wasn't filling my heart like at all. Like I was actually like really depressed towards the end of college. Like after having worked a couple co-ops, which are like 6-month full-time internships, but they're like pretty much full-time jobs. I realized like I was just not going to enjoy the rest of my life doing that. Like deeply, I felt that, and it put me in this like pretty big depression, but also like it forced me to ask a lot of questions about myself. And the one question I kept asking myself was like, all right, if you could do anything in the world, forget about being realistic for a minute. If you could do anything, what would you do? I was like, I'd make music. Like that's what I love. I grew up being a huge fan, hip hop, R&B. Like I love that shit. So once I started asking myself that, I was like, all right, let's see what you can write. And I wrote, and it was ass. And then I kept writing, and then I kept writing, and then I got more and more connected with it. And I just felt like even if like what I was putting out, like people didn't see the spark that was there, I could feel the spark. I could see the spark, and I could see it eventually growing into a flame. And 3-4 years down the line now, like it's starting to feel a little warm. You know what I mean? That fire in my heart and in the art that I'm putting out is starting to feel a little warm. And another year, 2 more years, like however long, like that shit gonna burn, So it kind of just the question was like, what could you do so that you have no regrets when you're on your deathbed? Like, so again, I forgot about being realistic for a second. I forgot about the obstacles. I answered that question. And then I went back and was like, all right, what obstacles are in the way? Like legitimately, could you put up with the lack of validation? Could you put up with sacrificing a lot of money? Could you put up with having to cancel a date with the beautiful woman because you got to go work and you got to put that money back in your music? And I was like, yeah, I could deal with that. So I just kept doing it.
Who was your inspiration?
J. Cole's a big one, musically and just like how he carries himself. I love the way he like talks in interviews. I love the way he like connects with the people that are around him and whatnot. I love his message. Flows are crazy, voices, all that, bars. I love Drake. I love how honest he is in his music. Not afraid to be himself. Frank Ocean, just artistically, like, just on another level. Like, the metaphors and the singing and the production. Weeknd, love him. And then I could go on and on about, like, so many different artists. But those are the main 4.
And the audio engineering came from recording yourself?
Yeah, I just had to do it. Like, when I first started recording, I had no idea what I was doing with audio engineering. So I'd ask, like, my cousin or, like, this dude I knew, and, like, they'd help me out, but it got to the point where I was like, I'm either going to have to spend a lot of money paying someone to do this, which is already tough as it is, or I can just learn how to do it myself. That was a struggle because that shit is hard as hell. Like, it was so difficult because you look at the DAW and you're like, I don't even know what these things mean. So that was like baby steps, just learning how to do it and time and practice. But now I'm at a point where I'm actually like charging people to come over and record at my studio in my crib, in my bedroom that I set up, because I just feel that comfortable with it and I feel like I make a good enough product with that. So that's cool. I'm happy about that.
Do you put yourself in a certain genre?
Yeah, I'd say hip hop, R&B.
Okay.
And it's mostly like the album is mostly hip hop with some like I'm rapping over some like R&B type beats, but the more comfortable I get with my singing, the more like I'm trying to make R&B as well because I love that. I love hip hop, but I love R&B like a lot. So,
do you look at your the time between your different projects and releases as like periods of growth?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So from where you were before to now you dropping this new release, what's some areas you've grown in?
Everything, honestly, everything. I listen to some old songs and like I said, I see that spark from before. And some of my old songs, I'm like, hey, this was cool. Like, but the songwriting elevated a lot. My ability to use my voice the way that I should use it, because I've like just become more comfortable with my voice has elevated a lot. My flows, my delivery, the audio engineering for sure. Yeah, and I'm just excited to see like what the next level is, you know.
Do you have a team or are you just by yourself?
Right now I'm just by myself, but you know, I've definitely met like some great people like Fineo. Obviously, you know Fineo. Kent Shelby, he's been helping me out a lot. Like I do these like interviews where I go out in public and ask strangers to listen to my music. He's always there helping me with that, getting people to like come over and like listen to the music and recording it. Jacobs helped me shot Rambo the Shooter. He helped me shoot a music video, and we got another one planned coming up when we get to it. So, you know, I'm definitely meeting the good connections and whatnot. But as far as the music goes, like that's me, like you know. But it's good to have people around to help like that, and hopefully we can form a team as this gets like bigger and bigger.
It's dope too because I saw you were doing Lyft or Uber, and then you was playing it for people in there. So that was pretty cool.
That was fun. Yeah. That was fun. I like doing those videos because it feels very like real life. You know what I mean?
Do you catch yourself getting fans from that?
Yeah, I've caught myself like making a little bit of like momentum on social media and getting some new followers and people that engage and comment and whatnot. And you know, it's hard to see at first because it's like, you know, it's like small numbers. But I believe that there's like a process that's being set in motion that's like out of my vision. You know what I mean? Like that I just don't hear about. But slowly getting some streams. You know,
because they say normally sales is like a 20% thing. So probably it's like every 20 or so rise, you probably get 2 to 4.
Yeah. So it's baby steps for sure, you know. But
I think that speaks to your creative ability as well, because you know I see that with certain artists, like they can have great music, but they don't know how to put the spins on it or market it a certain way.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm at right now. That's one of the tough ones, and that's where I do want a team to come in because I'm not trying to do all the marketing by myself. Like I'm cool with making the music, recording it, engineering it, like that's fine, but definitely need some help on that side of things because that's difficult. And yeah, like there's a lot you can do by yourself with that, and there's a lot of artists that blow up off their own marketing and stuff, and you know I'm still trying that, but I think personally there's like a level of like stage presence that I'm now working on that I think is gonna help the marketing. So like when I go on stage and like I'm just more comfortable there, like the videos will show that and that'll translate a little more, you know? But now it's just been working on like going out there, stepping up to the plate, like shooting the videos, video editing them and whatnot, and making sure I post as much as I can. 'Cause posting all the time, you know how it is.
Yeah.
It's a little time consuming, so just posting as much as I can.
What's your perspective on I'm seeing these different alternatives to streaming, where whether it's people are paying artists directly so what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, this independent artist, La Russell, he found a really cool marketing strategy where if he's about to drop a release, it's like 2 or 3 weeks before it drops on streaming, he gives his fans the option to buy it. And I think that's so smart because like if Drake were to do that, for example, I'd buy that shit. I'm like, I'm not gonna wait like while other people are listening to this album. Like, let me see what it sounds like now. $10? Yeah, like here you go. I think that's really, really smart, and that's something I wanna get into a little more. Besides that, though, yeah, there has to be some sort of like alternative to streaming. We have to find some sort of, or at least some sort of supplement to it besides touring and merch, because I feel like we're on the verge of like we got independent artists kind of just doing their thing, and then we got labels still trying to fight for power. I feel like we're on the verge of something evolving, you know, hopefully, because that would just help the music industry a lot. It's a little stagnant right now.
Yeah.
But it's like puberty, though, you know, like you just gotta go through an awkward phase for it to like really grow.
Yeah, because I think I saw something the other day. It was talking about that they're trying to raise the streaming percentage now.
They should.
So
they should.
Like, but even then, the rate it was at, I believe, don't quote me, but it was like what, 1 cent a stream or something like that.
So if it were 1 cent a stream right now, that'd actually be pretty dope. But it's like 0.007 cents per like Spotify stream, which is just ridiculously low. If it were to get double, tripled, quadrupled, that'd probably be awesome. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I try not to think too much about like that side of things. I just try to make really good art, and because if you get enough numbers, you're making money. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to stress about like, oh, I got 5,000 streams. That's gonna give me what, $40 or something? Like, oh, I wish it were 80. Nah. Let me get 5 million streams, 50 million streams, and let that pay me however much it pays. Because at that point, you're making cash. You know.
When you look at your stream, like you look at the analytics and things like that, what area do you listen to your music the most?
Right now, it's still mostly friends and family. I could
like
see.
Boston more.
Well, a lot of my homies be in New York, so I think New York right now is the one that's streaming me most. I think I just need to reach more of a bigger audience to get like better data, because there's still not enough data for me to really see. But yeah, we're getting there.
Well, you mentioned Lil Russell. I know he's from the Bay, and I'm from the Bay Area.
Oh, okay. Where?
So like, really big on independent. So if you, easy way to spread that out would be trying to connect with artists in different areas and make songs. So whether you do a hook in R&B or find like an R&B artist or somebody do a hook for you in another city, that's how you.
No, that's good. That's good advice. Yeah, for real. No, great.
You know, you can always take the Master P route, man. Go on tour, sell them out the trunk. You know, even what you're doing with going in Atlanta, like meeting people, like that type of stuff. It made me think of, it's this book called Contagious by, I believe, Jonah Berger. But it talks a lot about certain little marketing tricks and whatnot, schemes. But one of them was like, I think it was a place up in New York. They sold $100 steak. And in a sense, it kind of sold itself, because people were like, oh, you know, certain people were like, I'm not going to pay $100 for a steak. Right. But other people was like, nah, like, I want to see what that's about. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Nipsey Hussle, he actually took that, because he read the book as well. That's what actually made him sell his Crenshaw mixtapes. And also Mailbox Money mixtapes for $100.
So he only sold 1,000.
Yeah. And he made
that's cash right there.
You know what I'm saying? So those type of things, like even what you're doing, going in Atlanta, meeting people, having them listen, like, because I checked out a couple of your videos, like you could tell, like, most people are not even really used to that.
Right.
So it's like that. Even that is like, oh, this is cool. Like you actually engaging with me, you know, live reactions. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty dope.
No, that is dope. Yeah, there's I have a good feeling about the Uber videos, and I have a good feeling about those videos, and I know there's a next step to be taken with that. So that's like real good advice with like maybe getting those reaction videos and then having them buy a song or two or something like that. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Cause you know, you never know who's willing to support who you might be, especially out here. You know, you know, even doing Uber, like the people you pick up, you never know who you might pick up.
And they're from every city.
Yeah.
No, for real. I met a lot of good connections in my Uber. Like, the artist that just came over and recorded the other day, he was a passenger. You know, I played him my music, he played me his music. Some artists I've worked with before have been in my Uber. Some friends, like some people whose numbers I've gotten. It's cool. Good connections.
Now doing Uber, because I used to do Lyft a little bit too.
Right. Yeah, I remember we talked about that.
What's your I guess your craziest Uber story?
Oh man, it had to be this. I picked up this dude from Blake's. You know, he was drunk as hell. And he gets in the car, and like, I confirmed the address with him, and he goes, "Can we like get there already?" And I was like, "All right." Like I was just taking off my hoodie or something, so I just like needed a second because it got hot or whatever. So he was just like rude with me right away. 5 seconds later, he's hitting on me, and I'm like, how you gonna be a dick and then try to like hit on me, bro? Like what? And then he's just like kind of being annoying, like asking me questions, just being like super drunk. I'm playing some music and this song comes on, and I'm on the highway, and all of a sudden I can't see in my rearview mirror because there's something just going up and down in the back seat, and I turn around and this motherfucker is twerking to the song by himself in the back seat.
Chill out.
I go, sit the fuck down. I can't fucking see. And he's like, okay. 10 seconds later, he's doing it again.
That's crazy, man.
Oh my God. That was ridiculous. That was like that was annoying in the moment because I'm just trying to drive. I think it was raining too, and I couldn't like see, and the car's shaking. But it's funny now, you know.
Yeah.
I got a few of those.
There's some crazy people out
Yeah. I think he was like blacking out, so like he didn't remember the last 10 seconds. Like he was so blacked out, he didn't know what happened. You know what I mean? Like he was just
vibed all over.
Yeah.
that shit was annoying as hell.
How often do you go back to Boston?
I was just there for Thanksgiving, so like what was that, 5 months ago? But I don't think I'm gonna be going back very often anymore. My dad just moved, actually, for the first time in 25 years, back to Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Yeah, and my mom's gonna join him in like a year or so. She's gonna figure out work and whatnot. So yeah, my sister lives in New York now, so I don't know. I don't know when I'm gonna go back.
Do you send your music to a family in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, they're some of my biggest supporters, which is cool. And
international.
yeah, no, and Saudi Arabia right now is actually going through what seems to be a cultural renaissance. Hopefully, you know. So I'd love to be a part of that, and I'd love to like bring, you know, the Western energy to it. But I'm still connected with my culture. I do have to connect a little more. I want to live there for like a year at some point. But yeah, I'd love to be a part of that. So it's cool that I got family over there and like supporting me and whatnot. Just tell them to play my music more though. Like show it to your friends. What y'all doing? Baina, that's you.
So, I guess when you were working on Where It All Begins, did you face any like challenges, either mentally or you know when you're writing or whatnot?
Yeah, all the time. Mentally, definitely like second guessing. You know, that's always been since I started. There's always been just a ting of second guessing, but not like actual second guessing. Just like my mind playing tricks on me. You know how like your head will just like sometimes be your biggest hater.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, getting out of that is just like learning how not to be in my head and just be in the moment and just like understand that's just the ego talking, and the ego will say whatever it can so it speaks. So it'll go positive, it'll go negative. As long as it's talking, it'll just talk. So that was a big one. And just like getting the fundamentals down, you know, like because like I said, I started from zero. Like if you know, you guys know that like everyone has that friend that picks up a basketball for the first time when you're like 24 or something, and he's like dribbling like this. Like that's how I felt when I started, you know. So it was just about like learning the fundamentals, getting my dribble down, like getting my jumper down in the booth, of course. So I think that was just an obstacle. Now that I did that with the rapping, the singing, the writing, the audio engineering, and I have a project that's cohesive that I'm really proud of with like some songs that are like really true and deep to me and whatnot, I feel much more comfortable on the court, you know, in the booth. Like, so now when I'm writing stuff, it just comes like a lot easier because I like lifted that like mental doubt, I guess.
Before you start writing, I know you said you didn't start writing until like you were like 23?
22, 23, yeah.
Did you freestyle a lot?
Yeah, that's like, so when I started writing was when I started freestyling with like the homies, like just like on some drunk, like throwing a beat thing. That was fun. Yeah, that's freestyling is just what help me find my flow, you know. And I still try to freestyle because it's just fun, you know.
So you didn't start freestyling until like 22, 23?
Yeah, no.
Damn. So you love music, but during none of that time you didn't like freestyle like in your room by yourself or anything. You just started at 23, so like I'm gonna start freestyling and I'm gonna start writing.
Yeah, it never occurred to me that anyone could make music. I used to like think that like it was like, oh, this person's just so talented, like they could just sing, like they were born and they can sing. You know what I mean? It never occurred to me that it was a skill that could be developed.
What did you go to college for?
Chemical engineering. You know?
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
Okay.
And like during high school, you were into music. But so your thought process, okay, rappers, they was born to rap.
Yeah.
You got it.
You know, I knew there was a grind to it, of course, but like
in school used to freestyle or anything like that?
There was an artist that he's got a pretty good buzz, Kai. He's been making music for a while, but I wasn't really like that close to him or anything.
Now it's just a trip to me because
No.
people normally would just be from like as young as you could be, like 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like this is my favorite rapper, and then you to the side. People don't have to be there. You're still gonna like see if I could do that or get the instrumental for you to wait till like 22 to even start freestyling. Like, damn, okay.
No, it's wild. I know. Yeah. No, it just never really occurred to me.
What's your when you write music and then you say, okay, I'm gonna make an album or EP? How do you decide what songs to make the album?
Making the song to the best of my ability, like to see if I can finish it. If I finish the song, then I just listen to it and just try to feel it out. The album kind of just put itself together though. Like I probably wrote like 50 songs or something, and then just the ones that I felt really good while making. Most of those are the ones that have made it, and then just
only based off of you, or do you let friends and people hear it and they say like, nah, that one right there should go on the album?
I got one homie, shout out Vic, that I send the majority of my music to for like honest feedback and like, cause we have very similar tastes and like we get each other very well. So I send him a lot of my like rough drafts and whatnot and be like, yo, is my flow cool here? Like, is this lyric cool or whack? Like that type of shit. Besides that, I try to get as little feedback as possible, well, not as little as possible, but I try to just trust myself and trust my gut, because it is my music, right? So if I'm sitting down and writing, like, I'm gonna write this lyric so like this person will like it, like that doesn't even make sense. Like it's supposed to be personal to me. It's supposed to be about my journey. So if I like it, word. Oh, but about that, the biggest thing that helped me out with that though was because as an artist, you can be biased to yourself, right? So like you're creating something and you're like, I think this is dope because I'm writing it right now. I tried to take myself out of the artist seat and put myself in the fan seat. So be like, all right, if someone brought this song to me right now, I didn't make it, even though it is my song. Like hypothetically, I didn't make it, and I'm listening to it as a fan. What would I think? Because I'm critical as a fan. You know what I mean? So I try to take that seat, and that pushes me as an artist more. You know?
Because the only main reason why I asked that is because like a lot of times you'll hear like stories of like different rappers and with producers or engineers, stuff like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, I hated that song," and it ended up being like their number one hit.
Yeah,
things like that. So
no, I think about that.
Who's your group of people, or who do you go to make sure you put the right songs on?
Yeah, and that can easily change as I like go down this journey, and hopefully form a team or just have people around me that are making the music with me. So that can easily change, and we'll see what happens then. But writing where it all begins was pretty much a solo mission, except for getting the beats from the YouTube producers. So yeah, we'll see how that changes things.
I think too that it kind of speaks to that nuance between when you're an artist, like of course putting your art out and just being like satisfied and like happy that you've done that, but then also it being received.
Yeah.
Because even with it too, like I wrote a book and I got a lot out of the people that took the time to read it and give me feedback. And it was like, it wasn't about necessarily like the masses getting it. Not to say that it won't happen, but more so the people that read it and really like intuitively like, nah, I needed this, or getting that type of feedback. It made me think about a quote that Cole said too. He was like, every poet deep down wants to be loved and felt, you know what I'm saying, received. So even if it's just one or two people,
that's Fire Squad.
Even if it's one or two or a couple of people, if they like deeply felt it, like yo, I needed this, like you helped me with something, that's everything.
For sure. For sure. And I agree. It's just, it's hard to drop something that you think deserves to be heard by the masses and then doesn't get that exact explosive effect that you want out of it.
Right.
But that's just part of the process, you know what I mean? And then you come back to like that type of moment. You're like, nah, this is cool. I'm very happy I made this.
Yeah.
Like, want it to get more of a reception, and we'll put in the work so that it does. But that's it right there.
Yeah. Nah, that's real.
So I was asking you basically about like your albums, how you put them together and things like that. And I have a friend that basically gets a playlist of songs that they feel is in the same vibe of what they're looking for, and then they put all their songs into that playlist and kind of see how it like falls off, or if it fits the vibe, and that's kind of how they get their album together. Are there any things that you do like that outside of per se send it to your friends?
Right.
Do you ever let people in Uber listen to songs that you're kind of iffy about or things like that?
Yeah, before I dropped the album, I definitely was showing songs like that I thought were gonna make the album, but sometimes like when you show someone a song, you get a new perspective on it while you're showing it to them. It just like kind of forces you to like jump out of your head a little bit. So yeah, there were definitely a few moments where I shared a song with some like passengers or whatnot, and then I was like, maybe that song ain't it, but it's all good. That playlist idea is really cool though. Like I might have to start doing that.
Yeah.
It just that's tough because then you're going against the goats. Like if it's your favorite songs, like those are your goats that you're putting on that playlist. You're like, all right.
But that's what everything you do.
No, that's what.
You'll hear your audio. You know what I'm saying? If you mixed it right, mastered it right, you hear if it. You know what I'm saying? How good your quality is. So just.
Yeah, I definitely did that for the audio engineering side of things.
Did you take any classes on that, or it's just all being at the house?
YouTube,
yeah.
You can learn anything on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm starting to realize is like, if you have some sort of resource you can go to and get like the fundamentals down, and then you put in the time by yourself to like work on it, it's a lot easier than like getting like a weekly class sometimes, Like, for example, like learning a language. If you want to learn a language, I'd say like you take a class for like a few months, you learn the grammar, you learn like some of the most important vocab. And then if you really want to learn it, you just got to go to that country and like immerse yourself in it, Yeah, but like you can take a class for like 8 years and you'll learn what you need to learn, but you might hit like a wall at some point where it's like, I'm not forcing myself to now do the thing, So that's how I felt with audio engineering.
It's interesting too, because what y'all were talking about earlier made me think about Andre 3000. He was talking about when he used to make, I think he was talking about when he used to make music, he would think about it from a perspective of like make something that one you would want to hear, but also like some of your favorite artists would want to hear too. You know what I'm saying? Because in that way, it's like if those are your influences, like how would they feel about this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's fire.
And if it's good music, it's good music. Because Nipsey Hussle, none of his songs were professionally mixed or mastered until the last marathon, the one that came out right before he died. That's the only album that he ever had that was professionally mixed and mastered. Everything else was.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So just good music is just good music.
Yeah. No, I definitely realized that. Like with some older songs I listen to, I'm like, the mix on this ain't even like great or anything, but I don't even notice because the spirit is there, the energy is there, the experience or professionalism, whatever, bars, voice, like it's there. It doesn't even need to be.
You ever find yourself going through like a musical catharsis? Like you die each time you put something out?
I wouldn't put it like that. I wouldn't say die, but definitely grow. Like when I think the most cathartic moment I had was writing my song "God in Me," which is my favorite song I've ever written thus far. Where that did feel like I stepped into a new realm, as I was writing it, as I was creating it, because that song came from my personal experience. So writing that down did feel cathartic in a way where I was like, I'm so glad I got this off my chest finally, But yeah, I wouldn't say like dying and being reborn. I would just say growing. I think dying and being reborn would be really cool, hypothetically, experience, and maybe I can get there.
But some people say that you die every day you go to sleep, and then when you wake back up, But I was hitting on that too, because you a Scorpio, right?
Yeah.
When your birthday?
October 23rd.
Okay. But yeah, because I noticed, because I study somewhat astrology and whatnot, but a lot of Scorpios, they'll go through cycles of like rebirth, regeneration. That's why I was even getting at the catharsis. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I would say the rebirth started on the journey when I started making music. Like I grew up a completely different person. And like I wasn't this person right now, like in front of you, like physically and like mentally. And
what was that person?
Someone whose environment influenced them heavily.
So when you say environment, is that
like I was a
families from Saudi Arabia, Muslim, is that type of thing?
No, like the friends that I grew up with were just like a heavy influence on me. The culture I grew up around and whatnot, and that's not bad. I'm not, you know what I mean.
So
but
just for the people who are your fans now, the before and after, what was that person?
Someone that just went with the status quo. Someone that just he acted a certain way, so certain people would like him. Very out of touch with.
Gangster.
Oh,
Playboy.
Nerd that like to have fun. Like not nerd. I wouldn't even say nerd, but like I was really good at school. I got good grades, so like I studied a lot. I played a little bit of ball, ran a little bit of track. Just very like influenced by my social life. So someone that liked to go out, drink. I drank a lot in college. I partied a lot in college, like, and in high school. Someone that just I didn't live for the party. Like I wasn't like this center of the party or anything like that. But like, oh, we're going out this weekend. This party's happening. This girl's gonna be there, or like this thing's gonna go down. Where that's all I'm thinking about.
So you basically didn't have like a priority focus. More or less, you were just having fun.
Yeah.
Nothing about business.
Yeah.
It was strictly about
having fun. I'll get a job that'll pay the bills, but like I don't care about that job like that. Like it'll pay the bills, and I don't care about my performance in it or whatnot. You know. Yeah.
Do you with your finding your I guess purpose or your passion I guess later in the game than normal. If you had a fan that maybe you think might be like, oh, one-on-one with my favorite fan or something like that, what would you tell that person?
About finding your passion?
Yeah, about how you did it. Like, so they're coming to you advice and they're like, I don't know, what I want to rap, or I want to do this. Like, what would be your advice? Because they're coming to you thinking like, you know the way, you have the blueprint.
Right. Yeah. No, I tell them exactly what I told you at the beginning of this podcast. Sit down, ask yourself, if you could do anything in the world, forget about being realistic, what would you do? Whatever they pick, I'd then be like, all right, cool. That's a good answer. Like, sounds like you have passion there. Okay, what if this happens? Would you lose your job for this thing? Would your girlfriend break up with you? Would you put up with that? Like, would you be okay with that? Would you rise to that challenge, or would you fall and just be like, man, that was a regret? You know? Because if you could rise to it, do it. Bet on yourself. But if you really don't think like you can handle that lack of validation, this shit's too hard to do that. Like enjoy the security that you have, enjoy the comfort that you have. Like, have a family. Like, get a hobby. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of that. But if you can't let that thing go, if you're like I don't care about this girlfriend I'm with, like I don't care about this school that I'm doing. Like, if it's like itching at you, do that shit. Yeah. Do that shit.
So with that,
to the max.
With that, if you had kids or if you had this fan that was a youth that came to you, what's one characteristic of yourself? It doesn't have to be an artist. It's a characteristic of you or one of your strengths that you would pass down to that person. Like literally, like you came to me or your kids, like take this with you. This is what I'm leaving with you.
I'd probably give him a book or something like about presence. Power of Now or The Untethered Soul, and just I'd pass down that like the biggest thing in life isn't about the skill set. It's not about even necessarily the passion. It's about the presence. How in the moment can you be? How out of your head can you be? How much of the inner beauty around you can you soak in? Because there's always beauty in every single moment, and that's hard to see sometimes. Like it's hard for me when it's like last night. It's like 4 a.m. I'm driving Lyft and I'm tired and like, I'm not like having a great conversation with my passengers. I'm just like, oh, man, like, I want to sleep. Like, why? But take a deep breath. Like, there's something beautiful around you that you might be missing out on.
That gratitude.
Yeah.
Because we talked before about meditation. To me, that's what you're describing, being meditative in every moment. Because when you do that, like you said, even when you're tired, you're able to like say, hey, like there's something to be grateful for, even in this moment. Like I may be tired, my body may be, battling with that, but I'm still alive. I'm still getting a chance to do the things I want to do and live out my dreams. I have another chance to get it right. You know what I'm saying? So that's really dope.
Yeah, that's everything, man. That's everything.
And when you follow your passion, like we all pull from energy and frequencies and stuff like that. And if you ever notice, like a lot of rappers or artists or just creatives will say, like, to be in front of 100,000 people and they're yelling and screaming, and you can pull from that energy, that feeling is remarkable. But people don't realize you can pull that exact same energy from the very first song you write, and one person saying that's the dopest shit I ever heard. The energy is no different. You know what I'm saying? So to go what you're saying, like as far as, hey, you just gotta go out there and do it, because all it takes is that feeling. You know what I'm saying? That's why like some people, everybody gets butterflies, but once you go out there and one person laughs or one person applauds one nod their head, pull from that. It's the same.
It's fuel. It's fuel. Yeah, my that just reminds me, because that reminds me of something my friend said to me a while ago. I was just describing to her, like, these people I was around, and they was just, like, dim. You know what I mean? And, like, we had got given this gift or whatever, and they were like, oh, this is lame. Like, it was, like, a T-shirt, like, whatever. And it was from, like, a school. And it's, like, not a shirt you'd wear in public. Like, I was working with, like, 4th and 2nd graders at the time. And they just, like, oh, I'm never going to wear this shirt. And I was like, dude, it's so nice that this mother just, like, gave us this shirt. Like, she went out of her way and customized this for us and whatnot. And I was just, like, describing to my friend that experience of, like, how I felt and how they felt. And she said, yeah, some people just realize, like, life, you got to squeeze everything you fucking can out of it. Like, you got to see, like, all the little moments like that and squeeze every little thing out of it that you can. So that's, like, saying one person liked your song, they thought it was dope. It's like, all right, I don't even have to think about the fact that it's not getting millions and millions of streams right now. Like, let me squeeze that out and, like, use that as fuel. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's true. I would take that same one person later in life or whatever can be an A&R or can be whoever, and they be like, you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were my inspiration. They're like, who?
Yeah.
And now they go back, and now your song done turn around and turn around. From there. So, the whole cycle of life is dope.
For real.
Trav's gonna ask you some quick hitters.
Right.
Before that too, I studied this other science called cardiology, and in that you're a queen of hearts, right? But even from what you were talking about, it's all the themes of, like, to me, you're tapping into your intuitive sense, and then that's where also your passions come from. Even you having that courage to go after what you're passionate about, but also being, whether you know it or not, a nurturer to other people through your creative abilities and your music. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, continue to follow your intuition, and these quick hitters, right? I'm gonna ask you either it'd be a phrase or a question. I want you, whatever first comes to mind.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Uber nights.
Music.
Freedom.
Me.
Transcendence.
God.
Renaissance for the soul.
God.
Love.
Life.
Yeah, it is.
And that's another episode we have knocked down with Renaissance for the Soul, where we continually pushing the love culture. And like we always say, you can use me, but don't misuse me. And we'll go ahead and close it off with Trav, give us a little something, and then we want Hamza to let us give the last word and also know where everybody can find you.
Right.
So, again, I appreciate you coming through.
Thanks for having me. This is a blast.
Shout out to Lauren behind the camera. She always holding it down. Y'all keep your hearts pure, and like I said, we're going to keep spreading this love culture. So, on you.
Thank you all for having me. I very much enjoyed the shit out of this. Great conversation, great questions, genuine, raw energy, which is what I love being around. So, like, I already feel fueled by this, I'm going to take what I can from this and go about the rest of my day. Hamza J on all streaming platforms, HAMZA, space, initial J. Where It All Begins is the album. Check it out. If you got 45 minutes from start to finish, it's a cohesive project that I put a lot into. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Hamza, Hamza, Jayy. Thank God for listening. Much appreciated. Keep following me on this journey.
Love y'all.
Peace.